everyone, so today I am working on the Nyctatyrannus for Anthomnia. I'm pretty sure you're all aware of who Anthomnia is. He's pretty well known. I'm very excited to be making this piece for him. So this model I will pop the brand up in the corner of the screen. So now I'm drilling holes into him to allow for me to add pegs or armature pegs so the spikes have a little more strength. I don't trust the epoxy putty on its own. So the metal pegs I'm actually using are chopped nails, so I chop off the head and then I'm using them because they're actually quite a strong metal and cheap. So yeah, here I am chopping off the top of the nail and that's what I'm using. It also has a nice little point on it for the spike. And so you can see I've drilled a huge amount of holes all over this body. The Nyctatyrannus has a lot of spikes. All over the neck, all over the back, head, everywhere. This made this piece very painful to sculpt sometimes. I kept poking myself. So now I'm shaving off the teeth, because I don't need these teeth. I need to remake the teeth and mouth a fair amount. So I'm using my Dremel again to shave it all down. I really feel like a paleodental at this point. I'm going in with a finer tool so I can get into the tighter areas without wrecking the jaw. Now I'm drilling holes into the jaw to allow for metal pegs to give the teeth that strength, since the teeth are so tiny. I don't want them to be broken off easily. So the wire I'm using is red, just so happened to be the cheapest wire at the time, that is strong, and it kind of looks like veins for teeth. Kind of creepy. And now I'm using 2-part epoxy to sculpt the teeth. Because the teeth are so fine, I had to do them like 1 or 2 at a time. It was a very slow process. So while I waited for the teeth to set, I started sculpting for the rest of the parts, including these little back flaps, I guess you would call them. Back flaps with spines coming out. I'm not quite sure what this would be called. I'm using my pacer end to actually create the scale effect. It creates a really good scale effect, actually. Now I'm sculpting the horns using my silicone tool. So as you can see, the horns actually have a wire armature inside them too, which was a nail that I've chopped off, just to give them strength. And I'm blending them out using my silicone tools and water. Now I'm making the jaw. The teeth are all sculpted and I'm making that top bit of the jaw that looks like a second row of teeth. The Nyctatyrannus has a lot of interesting parts. So while I'm sculpting this, I think I might ask question of the day, or answer question of the day, which is what inspired me to make sculptures like this. Actually, I used to be a creature effect artist, so I used to make puppets for my own short films, and I just got off making the Dilophosaur, which was a massive project that just kept going wrong. I was worn out and tired from it. Needed a break with something easy to do, so I decided to sculpt or customize my Jurassic Park Carnotaurus for something fun, and I fell in love with the design of the Hypocarno. Wasn't sure what it was from, but I fell in love with it and wanted to make it. As I was making it, posting the progress photos, it was blowing up. I decided to find out what it was from, fell in love with the game, fell in love with what I was sculpting. It was going crazy, and yeah, that's essentially what got me into this world of customizing and sculpting these creatures, particularly for the Isles. So yeah, now I do play the Isles. I'm a massive fan of the Isles, and I sculpt these most of the time now. So here I'm making the second row of teeth stuff. I really don't know what to call the second row of jaw teeth, because they're not quite teeth. course I'm using a 2-part epoxy to sculpt. Okay, now I'm working on the base. I've got to drill out all these holes to make room for the sound module. This time I'm using a high quality sound module, so hopefully it works. Newsflash, I had to upgrade to an even more high quality sound module because this one broke as well. So since I don't have the right tools to cut out holes in things, I am just drilling multiple little holes to make it easier to cut out the larger circle later on. Not the safest option, but the option I have available. Now I'm just sanding everything smooth. So here I've gotten a separate cutout of wood to allow me to bake the polymer clay in the oven so this wood doesn't warp. I'm using polymer clay to sculpt the base, and I'm going for a lava cave base from the game The Isles. So here I'm sculpting the sort of lava bay area. Now these are LED lights, so I am using my UV resin to glue them down and hold them in place as I sort of strategically lay them flat over the bottom of the lava bed. So this is cellophane glued to diffusing foam, which is a foam that sort of diffuses light. So I've glued it down using UV resin again, and now I'm going in with texture paint. Just around the edges, just to rebuild that edge of the lava pool. And I've turned the lights on so I can really see if the texture paint is filling in all the gaps around the edge. I'm quite happy with that lava glow. Now we start the painting. I'm painting a base coat of brown with Josonia. The stalactites or stalagmites? Well, that's embarrassing. They're made from 2-part epoxy. I should know the difference. Now I'm going in with a citadel grey for the rocks. And I'm just touching up some black over the light switch. Now I'm going in with a gunmetal grey around the edging of the speaker and where the buttons will go, just to give it sort of a machinery, metal, human influence part of the sculpt. I'm also going over everything with a brown wash, including the middle parts and a bit of the grate. So I've base coated the Nyctatyrannus, and now I'm going to begin painting. I'm going to start with a base coat of blue from Citadel. It's actually a very pretty shade of blue. So there's actually many types of Nyctatyrannus, as I found out talking to Anthomnia. I actually had too many references, had no idea what to paint him, so the paint job I ended up with is the one Anthomnia picked out. So now I'm going in with a darker shade of blue, and I'm adding in some shadows. Now I'm going in with an even darker shade of blue. Thanks to my lovely Patreon supporters, I was actually able to invest in that little spin table that I'm using. Fantastic, I love it. So that's the blue done. Now I'm going in with a really, really dark shade of blue. It's almost black. I'm going in with black on the spines or spikes. Now we begin the grueling job of painting the teeth and the inner mouth. Now I'm doing an undercoat of light blue for the glowing spots the Nyctatyrannus has. This is a glow-in-the-dark paint I bought for, I think it was like $3 from a junk store. It's really good glow-in-the-dark paint. I can't remember the brand, I threw out the packaging. So I'm using my black light here to dot out the glowing part so I can see it as I glow. See, it glows so well. I wish I kept the brand, because once I run out I won't be able to buy it again. Okay, so this is the sound module. I've created a little magnetic box to store it safely away. There's all the buttons poking through. So this is actually the second sound module, the first one that I used for this broke. Test sound for the Nyctatyrannus. Button 1. Button 2. Button 3. Button 4. Button 5. I am so happy with those sounds. Okay, so the buttons are now installed, the sound module is working. I am very carefully painting around it now. I do not want any liquids of paint or water to get into those buttons and ruin what I've now installed, since I'm having so much trouble with sound modules. But this new one seems to be so hardy. Okay, so I've drilled some pegs into the Nyctatyrannus' feet and I've installed him into the base with this industrial strength glue. And that's him done. He's looking very beautiful, so stay through to the end where I show off the professional photos. Hey everyone, and I hope you enjoyed the making of the Nyctatyrannus. He of course lights up, he makes sound, and he glows in the dark, so fingers crossed Anthomnia likes him. I know that you're going to have a chance to win this guy. I'm not sure how or what's going to happen there. I'm still discussing that with Anthomnia and waiting for things to be chosen and stuff like that. All secret squirrel business basically. So yeah, keep an eye on his stuff for announcements on how you can go about winning. In the meantime, you can win one of my pieces over on my Patreon, where you can help and support me grow my channel, buy better materials and equipment. Or you can just subscribe for 1 month for as cheap as $3 just to win the piece. I'll be doing a giveaway every 4 months. The more Patreons I get, the bigger the prizes will be. So until the next video, I'll see you all then. Bye!